Hello, sports fans. Welcome to DDN Sports Central, your one-stop shop for global juicy sporting stories. On today's edition, we are looking at the Europa League Final that just ended. Anyway, I have someone in the studio with me to discuss the Europa League Finals with. He is no new person to the camera on DDN Sports Central. But before I introduce him, we'll go on a quick break. And after the break, we'll come back and talk about the finals of the Europa League finals of the Europa League. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So without much ado, I have with me in the studio my unapologetic, he said he has dropped the prophet part. Yeah. So let's just go straight. You've heard his voice. He's no other person than Mr. Ibrahim Umar Wase. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, we are looking at the Europa League final that just ended. Manchester United fans, I know you feel very bad. I also felt, I won't say I felt bad, sincerely, but I think to a large extent, I felt Tottenham saw an opposition that they could challenge with all their might, and they came out and got it. How did you see that game? Did you see it coming?
Honestly speaking, I rooted for Manchester United to win the trophy. And as you know, our biggest rival, definitely Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. We don't like them to win anything. We like to keep bantering
70 years. Your prayers will be answered for 70 years.
Yeah, so that's what gives us joy to banter Tottenham. Yeah. But joke aside, banter aside, I think Manchester United deserve the trophy. But one sad thing in football is that the best team doesn't usually win. Yeah, if you watch the game, Manchester United dominated every facet of the game. They dominated the position, shot on target, shot off target, everything, including corner kick. There's no single thing, but one thing that Tottenham has is the goal, and goal determine games. So finally, Tottenham Hotspur touched a trophy after 17 years. Congratulations to them. But I think this is the most disappointing season for me. I can't lie. I rooted for Manchester United. Yes. By the way, it is a clash of the clowns. Both the two sides, 16 and 17 in the Premier League.
Sincerely?
Yeah, it's a battle of the clowns. They barely escape relegation from the Premier League, the two sides.
And come to think of it, 16th and 17th, they took out big-time clubs from well-placed clubs from other leagues, from other
that's why oftentimes there is a difference between a league and a tournament. A tournament is basically if you have a very formidable defense and attack that can deliver when needed, then you might likely secure the trophy. While in the case of league, you need to have a formidable team in all facets and a very, very strong backup because it is a long run, 38 games in a season. So one slip, you find yourself at the back. Just look at the Premier League and Champions League race in the table now. Remain one game to go, and from a third position to seventh position, I think it's only 3 points that separate them, which signifies that anything can happen on that final day.
Now, as it stands, in all sincerity, I don't know how players of Manchester United will feel. I know already that fans of Manchester United will be feeling bad. But as it stands, if you were Ruben Amorim or a member of the management of Manchester United, how would you be feeling knowing that next season Manchester United is not anywhere in Europe?
It is heartbroken for the club of Manchester United caliber, without a shadow of a doubt. Although some people think it's still arguably Manchester United is the best club in England, considering the fan base, what they have done, what they have achieved in recent years. Manchester United is a force to reckon with in Europe, not even in England, and in the world, as a matter of fact. So for the club of this caliber to not play even in Conference League, it is sad.
Really sad.
Let me use this word,
Really sad.
because even the competition themselves, I know they will miss this club, this fan base. It's about business. It's about the money they are going to get, and you can't
And Man U
compare
would have brought them
Tottenham.
some money.
Yeah, you can't compare Tottenham in the Champions League with Manchester United in the Champions League because of their fan base. Nobody even celebrates. If it was Manchester United that win the trophy, you would see the celebration everywhere on social media platform, because Manchester United is a globally accepted club. Apart from England, in North London, I don't think Tottenham have fans anywhere in the world. So you can't compare the two clubs. So it is sad for the European competitions, and Manchester United should just strengthen their team and probably change their management, because I still believe what Cristiano Ronaldo told the management, what he said during his last
the interview before
he left. That's the problem of Manchester United. They should just go back to the drawing board.
Now, do you think it's possible for the likes of Fernandez, Garnacho? I think I learned Garnacho is having some talks with some other clubs, may likely move out of Manchester United. But then, the likes of the captain Fernandez, do you think he would want to stay with a club that has no business with any European competition next season? Do you think he would want to stay?
It depends on the, should I say, the contract he has with Manchester United.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe there is loyalty in football. Yeah. It's about what the club offers you. The players will go anywhere if there is a lucrative offer, a better offer for them. So Bruno Fernandes is the captain of Manchester United. He might feel that maybe, let me give it a try. And Manchester United is one of the clubs that pays their players very well. You get, so they'll offer him a lucrative contract if they want to. If they want his service. You know, Bruno Fernandes is growing older. He'll be 30 next year, and in football age, it is not a good age for a player, 30 years. So maybe he'll start thinking, maybe I should go and retire. Saudi Arabia club are coming after him, and you know they pay heavily. So the money they pay, you just go and find your retirement benefits and go home. I think it depends on what Manchester United will put on the table for him. But players like Garnacho, players like Rasmus Højlund, players like Kobe Mainu, these players that have a long way to go, these young players. I think players like Kobe Mainu, it will be very hard for them to leave the club. They were heart and flesh Manchester United fans. They grew up from the academy. Virtually, they grew up supporting the club. So it's a privilege for him to play for his childhood club. But sometimes it is not just that.
It doesn't always work like that.
Because considering that your player that you give number 17 and number 7, that Chelsea, Mason Mount. Mason Mount grew up from Chelsea Academy. He achieved everything with Chelsea. Won Premier League, won Champions League, won Club World Cup, Europa League, but he left. And what adds salt to the wound was that he went to Manchester United, one of their biggest rivals. So football sometimes is funny. These players, there is nothing like loyalty.
Honestly. Now looking at the team for next season, judging by how they played, because in all sincerity, there were rumors at some point that Ruben Amorim was going to leave the club. At some point again, Ratcliffe came out to say that Ruben Amorim is not leaving. They will do their best to keep him together. Another rumor also came out that they gave him a lot of money to make sure that they have a formidable team going into next season. But then, looking at how they played towards the final of the Europa, I'm thinking they have a team that could challenge for top 4 next season and probably qualified for the Champions League or any other European competition next season. Would you agree that they, at present, that they have a good team that can challenge for top 4? Because in all sincerity, if we look at it, you had a Solskjaer. You complained about Solskjaer. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that.
You replaced him. Managers after managers.
You know, managers after managers. The recent being Eric Ten Hag. So you get to find out that it may not be about the players totally. It may just be about some elements of energy that has to come from the top to the team.
Yeah.
So do you think that this team...
Honestly speaking, if I look at Manchester United team now, I don't think they can fight for top for next season.
Okay.
But 1 year is a very long time in football to predict anything. If last year, who would have thought that clubs like Nottingham Forest would be fighting for top 4? So it's very, very hard to predict. But notwithstanding, I think Manchester United are going to buy players because they have the money.
Okay.
So if they strengthen their team, and also one thing that Manchester United should focus on is their technical director. You know, it's not all about the manager. If you understand that business of football, the technical manager determines which player will fit the profile that we need at certain position. And it is a team game. It's about the chemistry. If you bring someone, everybody there is a professional. Everyone knows how to play football. But who will complement that person in a positive way for us to achieve something tangible? That's the business of football. So that's why these technical directors, they are very, very pivotal in determining the success of a club. Because the manager will just said, this is what I want you to do in the pitch. This is what I want to achieve, and make sure that the pattern, his strategy and tactic is maintained. But the person that is responsible for signing the players is clearly the technical manager. So Manchester United should change their technical manager. I don't think that guy is doing anything. He's just going for big names, signing big names to the club, and it doesn't work that way. You have to look for the players that at least they are not only playing for the name, that ego and reputation, they are also playing for the team, that badge. Let's find this type of players. Manchester United is a big club. You see players that were supporting Manchester United when they were young. Find this type of players. And you have to stick to your own ideals as a technical director. The attitude, personality of a player matters. And that's what I like about Guardiola and Arteta. Small details. You get small details. He went for that guy, Ivan Toney, that Brentford striker. You know, it was his own attitude that sent Arteta away. Because he might likely come. He has the skills. He has everything that it takes. But he might likely destroy the unity in the dressing room because of his own attitude. So you have to look at these things carefully and bring the right players.
Okay, we're going to look at two things before we call it a wrap on the show. The first thing is this. Well, Tottenham, they are there in the Champions League. In fact, in all sincerity, there's even a parade planned for them. The whole of what's those places now?
Not London?
Not London, yes, but there's a particular place. They've even put out some announcements. Some roads have been closed so that fans will come and enjoy, feel the trophy and all of that. That's so good. That's nice. We may show you a clip of how they've been preparing for it.
But for our fans, I want us to discuss about this. Some people think because Tottenham probably won the Europa League, so they have a better season. They had a better season.
No, I will come to that. You are even taking my second question from me. Now, the thing is this. My first question is this. Now, Tottenham going to the Champions League, let's be honest, judging by what we're seeing now, do you think in any way that they will be able to do something that the likes of Aston Villa did? Because nobody saw Aston Villa getting to where they got to. But do you think Tottenham can, key into what Aston Villa did this outgoing season?
Honestly speaking, considering their current squad, no. But they qualify for Champions League. They will attract a lot of players. And I think every player will tell you that if the player is qualitative, will tell you that I want to play in the Champions League. So they secure that Champions League spot. So it won't be a problem for them to attract any type of player. And also, don't forget, Tottenham Hotspur is not that a mediocre team, although in some aspect of trophy they are like that. But they have the money. You get financially wise, they have the money. They have the second or third best stadium in England. So, and I think their ticket sale the tickets to enter the Tottenham
stadium.
Hotspur Stadium
Yeah.
is the second most expensive, or the most expensive in the whole of England.
Wow. Yeah.
So they have a lot of money to spend, and they qualify for Champions League. You can't go to Champions League with this type of mediocre players. You have to sign players that will compete with the big boys, the champions in Europe.
Okay, so that's on one side. Then you took the second one out of my mouth, but I wanted to now marry it with another question. Would you say that Tottenham Hotspur had a better season than an Arsenal that got to the semi-finals of the Champions League? I'm using that because it's your club.
Yeah.
That's one. Then two, this one is outside the Tottenham and Manchester United. Two, do you think it's fair? Do you think it's fair? Sometimes I feel bad. How can a 16th
Play in the Champions League?
All because there's a competition called the Europa League.
So the first question,
Yeah.
I'll start with the first question. And I don't think it is even rational for someone to think that Tottenham Hotspur had a better season than Arsenal.
Okay.
And let me tell you the reason why. Arsenal did not even participate. They were not part of the Europa League. So it was literally like saying a Europa League is like the second division in Europe, right? The Champions League is the main competition.
Mainly,
So the Europa League is just for those who could not qualify in the Champions League.
And those who dropped down from the Champions
It's just like literally saying Leeds United that won the second division in England. That's the championship.
Yeah.
They should banter Arsenal that played in the Premier League and said we won a championship. Does it make sense? No. You played in a far superior trophy. And that's from a rational point of view.
Yes.
And let's take the financial point of view.
Okay.
Clearly, qualifying for Champions League semi-final earns you more than £130 million. And winning Europa League from the start to finish earns you only 40 million, which is not up to half of that money. So financially wise, you can't compare. And also reputation wise, nobody will say because Tottenham Hotspur won the Europa League, they had a better season, except for the fact that they have a trophy. And considering the fact that they spent 17 years without touching a trophy.
2008 to now.
Yes, but I don't think anybody who knows football, sometimes...
And it was even the EFL Cup, they won in 2008.
That's it. We'll consider Tottenham Hotspur winning the Europa League, that Arsenal did not even participate in, as having a better season than Arsenal. Maybe if they won Premier League or FA Cup that Arsenal participated, then we'll look at it and say maybe they had a better season because Arsenal was part. But no, this is a complete different trophy, and I don't think it is even rational for someone to think like that. And the second question, is it fair for someone that finished 16 in the Premier League to play in the Champions League? Absolutely not. And that's based on my personal
There's those personal things.
You can't argue with the laws. They have their laws there that anybody that
somebody will struggle. I get to like 7th.
That's it.
And I don't get it just because somebody played in the Europa League and some down.
And now we'll have 6 clubs. You know where the injustice is? We'll have 6 English clubs in the Champions League. Because of Arsenal qualifying, that's why sometimes this football is not fair. You get Arsenal qualified in the qualification to the semi-final. Add based on UEFA coefficient. Yes. Add 1 club to England. Instead of 4, they have 5 clubs. Arsenal did not reach the Champions League final. They came back home. God. The most disappointing season.
It's really a disappointing season. Like, sincerely, I feel bad for Arsenal fans. I feel bad for a lot of other fans, especially Manchester United fans, that will not be having anything to celebrate or look out for next season other than just playing in the English Premier League. Okay, once more, as always, we said we're going to do something. We're still looking forward to that. The Champions League, which is coming up next week, 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're looking forward to bringing some highlights of that on that day, if everything goes down well for us. We are making a lot of plans towards that. Once again, Ibrahim, thank you so much. Thank you very much for always coming to the show and coming to my rescue. Management, he's always coming to my rescue. So thank you so much, viewer, for taking our time to watch us. And do not forget to like, share, and comment on this edition of DDM Sports Central and previous editions of DDM Sports Central. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel, Diaspora Digital Media. If you use DDM TV, to take you to the same spot. Then look out for other programs that we have lined up for you right there on our YouTube channel. It's a wrap from here, and until I come your way again with another beautiful edition of DDM Sports Central, I remain your host with the Sparks, Ugochukwu. You have a lovely and sporty day ahead. Bye for now.